Commodes!
Commodes!
Commodes! If you've had recent surgery, or maybe your legs are weak, or you have impaired balance, or maybe you're using a walker or a cane, it can be difficult to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Especially if you have that urgency and frequency, you just got to keep getting up and getting over there. It can be hard. That's why we have 3-in-1 bedside commodes. These guys can be so helpful, not only in the bedroom, but also in the bathroom and in the shower area. We'll show you that in a little bit. But in this video, we're going to show you what a 3-in-1 bedside commode is, where to use them, how to use them, and also a couple different safety tips and cleaning tips on how to use them as we go along the video. I'm Dr. Sean, your PT guy, and our videos help you learn how to move better and stay independent so you can enjoy your life. Let's get started. Disclaimer! So what exactly is a 3-in-1 bedside commode in the first place? Essentially, it's just a device that makes your life a little bit easier. If you have to get up and use the bathroom in the middle of the night, it's going to make your life a lot easier because you can bring the bathroom to you. Or if you're having a hard time getting up from the toilet, you can put it over the toilet and you can push up a little bit more. I'll show you that in a moment. And you can even use it in the shower as like a shower chair if you're having a hard time in the shower and your legs are a little bit weak and you need a place to sit down. I'll show you all that in a moment. But the bedside commode is a device that can be helpful in all those areas. It has telescoping legs that can make it go up and down. You can actually raise the height of this device, or you can shorten it down depending on your height. You want to just make sure that when you're standing up that the seat is about where your knees are, so that when you sit down your feet are flat on the ground. Okay, very important to do. Very important to keep that height set to your specific height. These bedside commodes, the legs do go up and down. It's got a bucket on here. Okay, the bucket's for catching stuff. Let's just say stuff for right now. Just catching stuff. And it's helpful. And it has a lid on it as well to kind of close that off if you need it. But let's talk about when you would use it at the bedside first, and then we'll talk about in the bathroom, and then we'll talk about in the shower. So let's do the bedroom first. So let's say it's nighttime and you wake up because you gotta go to the bathroom. Again, I know it's not fun. And now you gotta take your walker or your cane, or maybe you're not using that, but you still feel a little groggy and your legs are weak and you're just trying to kind of get your way to the bathroom. Each step is placing you at more of a risk of falling because you're groggy, you're not quite there. So a bedside commode can be very helpful, especially after a surgery where you just need a little bit of extra help to get to the bathroom. It's going to make it so much easier to get there and do your business and then be done. And then you can go back to bed and get the rest you need and get the healing that you need, because you're going to be sleeping at night and not trying to get up and go and getting up and going, getting up and going, all those things. We want to improve our sleep. So this can be very helpful. But where do we put this? Safety. Let's talk about safety. What do we do? Oftentimes, there's three places that people can actually place the commode that they feel the most comfortable. First is a complete, basically 90 degrees, parallel with the bed, okay? They kind of put it right there so that when they come up, then they're gonna try to stand and turn and sit. Okay, that's the first place. I like that place because it minimizes the distance between the armrest and the bed. That's very helpful. Other times, people will place it right in front of them. Okay, so then when someone does that, they try to come up like this and they're going to go like this. And what I don't like about this one is when you're here, now you have to go 180 degrees like this, and now you have to go like this, and now you have to go like this, and you have to sit down and turn, okay? Now, then you go and you do your stuff and you come up. Again, you have the toilet paper at the nightstand, hopefully. You throw it down in there, that's good. And then you come on back over here and then you sit down. So that's another way. I don't really like that way as much. as the 90-degree turn, because when you have to go 180 degrees and back up, it's difficult. And then you have to switch your hands and stuff. Some people love it. I find that most people don't. So I like to kind of combine them. Instead of doing 90 degrees or straight ahead, I like to kind of do something like this. I like to do 45 degrees. There's a big reason I like to do this. So oftentimes, if the chair, the reason why people like it right in front of them is because it's right in front of me. I can hold on, I grip, I know I'm there, okay? So I don't see the ground, it doesn't look scary. I'm thinking I'm less likely to fall, but people don't realize they're having to take more steps and they're having to switch their hands and stuff. That can be dangerous. So if we combine that with a 45-degree turn, then I can just come up from here and place my left hand on the left armrest, which is in front of me now, and I'll never have to change where this hand goes. Whereas if it was straight in front of me, I went like this, and then I had to turn and turn and turn. My hands had to switch. But in this setup, you don't have to do that. So I push from here, and then I'm reaching for this. Or I can just keep my hand here at first. And if I do that, I'm going like this. Look, the hand never moves. I go like this, and I sit. Boom. You do your stuff, all done. All right? So again, I've got the toilet paper right there. Throw that in, good stuff. And I come back, and then I place my hand here on the bed, and I turn 2 steps. 2 steps, rather than all of those steps that it takes to go 180 degrees. The other thing I don't like about the 90 degree is I don't have that bar right out in front of me, so it's kind of scary. I feel like I have to get up, and I have to turn and turn and turn. So I prefer this way for those reasons. But again, you can kind of work with your therapist and figure out what works best for you. But the biggest thing you got to do is just make sure you're working on those angles. Now, another big thing is this bucket, okay? This bucket, you have got to make sure that this bucket is in there in the first place, okay? Because if it's not in there, and then you go and you're in the middle of the night and you just got that chair there and oh, there it's there. And you're groggy, you're not thinking about it. You go down, you go back to sit down, you go like this, and then you go and like, oh, I just gotta go. And then it's like, so just make sure you've got the bucket on there, okay? Let's make sure that bucket's on there before we go to the bathroom in the first place. Okay, we gotta make sure it's on there. And speaking of, let's talk about some easy ways to clean this out. I learned this from one of my most favorite coworkers, and he was doing a lot of help at people's homes as well. And he had the brilliant idea, so I can't take credit for it. He had the idea, but he put a little bit of Dawn soap and a little bit of water, just a little bit, in the bottom of the bucket. So that when you go to the bathroom, even if it's 1 or number 2, when you just dump it out, it just goes whoosh. Because that coating of the soap, it just slides right out, making it so easy to clean. So, and plus, it makes it smell good too. It's because you got the lid, and it just, the soap itself kind of kills off any kind of smells. That's a little bonus tip. Speaking of, another thing that you can do, you can actually buy these liners that you can place inside of the commode bucket itself. And then once you go, you basically just lift up the seat. So let's say you go, you or someone else lifts up the seat, grabs the bag, throws it out, and it's completely clean again. The issue with those are they can be pricey, especially if you're constantly going quite often. But those are 2 good options. So we've talked about the bedside commode, how it's helpful inside the bedside or inside the bedroom. Now let's go to the bathroom. Another great place to use the commode is actually over the toilet itself, If you don't have any grab bars or anything to pull up from and you have weak legs, that's going to be hard to get up from that toilet. But a commode can help you because you just push right up from the armrest and then you're on your way. That's great. But a couple things you need to know about the commode before you go out and do that. Each commode and your toilet itself, there's generally two different kinds of toilet bowls. There's elongated, which is kind of like an oval, or there's just the circular kind. Ours is kind of like the egg kind of elongated type, which is helpful. And you can also buy commodes that are actually elongated seats that kind of fit a little bit easier. We have an elongated seat, toilet, and basically a slightly elongated but still circular commode. I'm going to show you how we can make that work. But essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the commode over the toilet itself, and you can either take the entire toilet seat off. That I've seen that happen. It's a little bit easier because you can slide it back so that all the holes are lined up perfectly. That's great. Oftentimes people will just keep the toilet seat down. Generally, I like to keep the toilet seat up for that, and then that allows me to slide a little bit more. It depends on how high you're going to put the commode itself. If you have it pretty high, you can keep the seat down and just slide back. But I'm going to show you something that my commode has that is very helpful, especially for guys. Okay, so let me show you in a moment. But we're going to take the commode and we're going to just slide it back as far as we can get it. Okay, so basically the legs are on the ground. All four legs are on the ground. That's great. It's slid back as far as it can go, but there's like an inch of the seat itself is like a little bit of an inch forward. So if I took the toilet seat off itself, then I could slide it back. But I don't have to do that because my commode has a splash guard. Now these are so helpful because whenever you are on the toilet, if you just have it right over the toilet, and especially if you're a guy and you decide to go, well, sometimes your aim isn't the best. And instead of going down, you kind of go out and then you're trying to go, but then it's like, whew. Okay, so this is helpful because it sits right below the seat of the commode. And then when you go, the urine actually just hits right there and it slides right down. Okay, so very, very, very helpful. Basically just lift up the seat, you put this guy in, and then you slide this guy down, and there you go. So now it's slid right there. I've got no spaces in the front. I'm good to go. So what do? You turn around. Okay, you're going in the bathroom. You sit down. Okay, you've got your stuff going on. There you go. Maybe you're reading a good book or something. You're ready to go. You get up. You got the toilet paper. You do all your stuff, and then you're on your way. So it's helpful because these guys are so helpful because I don't have any grab bars to pull onto. And please, please, please don't ever use a towel rack for a grab bar. It will pull right out of the wall. I've seen it happen, and then people end up on the floor. Not helpful, not helpful at all. So here I can just push from the commode itself. I just push on up and I'm up. Okay, so that's another good place to use it. Now, our final place to use it and where we're going to go to next is the shower. The shower can be so helpful to use the commode. Let's go there next. So the final place that you can use the commode is actually in the shower itself. If you have a shower chair, that's great, but if you don't, you can use the 3-in-1 commode as a shower chair. It's made of metal, it's stainless steel oftentimes, and then the plastic. That's fine to get wet, no problem. That's great. So we have the handheld shower head. So if you're needing to sit down and just take a break because your legs are tired or something, or maybe you have COPD and it's hard for you to kind of keep going in your shower, it's a wonderful place to sit down, shower off, and then once you're done, all you have to do is you dry off as much as you can in the shower, and then you just take your hands, you stand up, and then you're on your way. So, shower chair, third use for the commode. And there you have it. Everything you wanted to know about commodes. what they are, where to use them, and most importantly, how to use them safely. We're all about preventing falls. Safety first. Speaking of falls, if you want to learn more tips and training on how I teach people to prevent falls, you can get that down in the link in the description below. And if you want more videos just like this one to help you learn how to move better and stay independent to enjoy your life, click the subscribe button down below, and we'll see you in the next video.